I'm not part of them. So when we are caught, are they going to be handled properly? Right. Or some people are going to find a way to buy themselves out of the situation? And the reason why it has become this serious is because we cannot even curb it at the level of NECO and WAEC. Talk about the miracle centers. And of course, some students have become so comfortable with, okay, I can tell my parents to help me sort it out, because a lot of them even pressurize their parents to pay for them so that they can cheat in the examination. Or so before we actually talk about the student, we also need to talk about the parent. I mean, why should you not encourage your child to read and pass rather than trying to say, I want to pay for Miracle Center or I want to pay for Expo for you so that you can pass your examination? And over time, before, we don't even hear about all of these things concerning JAMB, but things have, I don't know, things have gone bad these days, especially in the area of JAMB as well, because normally it is very common with NECO, very common with WAEC, and of course they'll be called, even invigilators. Sometimes you find them in that situation. That's why they said, even the collaborators. But then if you ban a student for 3 years, what about invigilators that are caught in this situation?
Most of them are teachers.
Definitely. So how do you handle those people? Are you going to sack them? So just like you said, I think it should be looked at properly, because what you can do to a student, you cannot do that to an adult who is an invigilator or an elderly person, because we've seen cases like that. That's why I say some people respond better to punishment. If you do it today, nothing happens. They have that mindset, they can do it again. So we need to begin to orientate the student that you can actually read. We have seen students who don't engage in the expo and they read and pass. Do you even know that even with the expo, we still have people who complain bitterly that they still feed even after paying for expo? So why can't you just focus on reading and excelling in your examinations, honestly?
It's more or less like a situation where, if we talk about it from the angle of the education system in the country, finding a lasting solution to examination malpractice, yes, we will not be wrong, because that's one thing so many people have been clamoring for a long time. We have seen situations where even students have become so relaxed, just as you rightly said, that they no longer care about how well they read and how they studied. They just care about, oh, well, when we get to the line, we'll cross it. That's always the saying. Don't worry, when it's time for the exam, there's always someone somewhere, one uncle that does special exams. In fact, they got to a stage where some people were doing no appearance. They don't even go to examination halls. And then they will get results. Someone will write the exam for you, and then you will see the results. And then it got to a stage where I was feeling like, oh, how do you feel as a person when you know this result? I didn't write it myself. Do you feel really good about it?
No,
I don't think so. Someone like me will not feel so. So I think it should get to a stage where every student should be held accountable for whatever it is they do. But even before that, have we done enough orientation to tell them exactly what it means for you to be responsible for your own success and not being pushed over the fence? So if they understand this, then we can now start the action of the deterrence and making sure that whoever has done something wrong should be punished. Now, you mentioned something about lecturers too. I mean, teachers who are actually invigilators in exam halls. What exactly will happen to them if they are found to be collaborators? That is not stipulated. And we are talking about what will happen to the students. So it should be 50-50 situation.
Definitely.
If the students are found, guilty, and then they are punished, banned, whatever it is done to such students, something should happen to the lecturer, to the teacher who actually happens to be the invigilator too. And aside from that, aside from the invigilator, even schools that allow this to happen on their premises should also be held accountable for. Probably it should be banned. Oh, you are not writing WAEC here for the next 5 years.
I think it happened to some schools in about at a time.
They were suspended.
I don't want to mention the school
because they were
banned from writing WAEC
to be guilty over and over again. They were like, look, we are not coming here again. So it's not like it is difficult for WAEC to or every examination body to spot where these errors are coming from. They know where these schools are, and they know exactly which schools these things are, happening over and over again. So once they highlight these schools, they become hotspots for closer looks. You get to look at them closer and then be able to spot, oh, this year there was no examination malpractice in so place. Because we have seen situations where students will selectively pick a school. I want to write my exam.
That's what I said, Miracle Center.
I've seen places where situations where a student will say, look, I'm not writing my own exam in Ibadan, I'm going to Kishi. What is in Kishi? What is in Kishi? What is in Chaki? What is in Aguare? What is in Tede? What is in Erua, Lanlata, Igagon? That you do not want to write your own exam in the city of Ibadan.
You will not discover
and you want to travel down there.
When they get to the university, it becomes difficult for them to pass examinations without entering the hall with anything that can incriminate them. And of course, there's no how. You get caught. And that's why I see some of them, they can give you maybe a year plus, or maybe 2 years, or maybe 1 semester because you were caught, cheating in the examination hall. So I think the first duty lies with the parents. Do not even allow
encourage
it. Don't encourage it at all.
Yeah.
And of course, the schools as well. I mean, if you teach your students well, I mean, why not? Because even after this expo, you will see some students lamenting that their parents paid huge amount of money and they still failed maths.
They still failed.
So what is now the essence of paying for expo? Why can't you read and make sure that you pass? Honestly, so if you allow it at that level,
that made me remember Fela Anikulapo's song "Double Wala." You have paid so much and eventually you failed. So what was the point?
There's no point actually, because we see students that are doing well. Look at that young girl, that won that prize, the whole world, she won that English prize.
That's what we are talking about. When the country prioritizes, things that really do not matter, and then education is left aside. How much she was given for winning that English prize, around the world, not just in Nigeria,
not just
in
Nigeria.
Africa. It was globally, and then she was given
200,000,
just a mega amount of money.
Later, I think there was a defense that she was given the money by the Minister of Education, not the federal government. But
so what has the federal government done since then?
Maybe
I think we'll do a follow-up on that.
Let's wait.
It takes time for the government to decide on what to do.
Because even the Nigerian players, female players, I'm not sure they've received their money yet. So the government is probably working on it. And of course, she's been added to the budget. Let's keep our hands.
We'll see what will happen anyway.
Definitely.
But then it's a good one that we are saying this, that some people are said to be held accountable for every wrong that happens in their centers, and including the students too. So if anything happens, now we know that there is already a gazette that says, look, if you are caught doing this, and I think this information should be spread across.
Definitely.
It should be a thing that everyone knows about. It's not like, oh, I did not hear. So because ignorance is not even an excuse. So if you know what is going to happen to you if you do a certain thing, I don't think anyone in his or her right senses will venture into such, despicable acts.
And of course, people will write for other people. I mean, you are putting your destiny on the line. Imagine if you are caught and you cannot move on with your life for the next 3-4 years. Because
there are ghostwriters.
Definitely.
I tell you, there are ghostwriters. And I've seen them before. I've seen situations like that before. Oh, I don't come to exam hall. Don't worry, it will be sorted out. And truly, it will be sorted. So how does that happen?
The system.
So someone knows exactly what is going on, and the system, there is a loophole. And before we go on this, I want to implore them too that if you have come out with something really beautiful as this, you should look out for the loopholes that everyone can plug into.
Definitely.
Because an average Nigerian understands where there is a gap. So they are always looking for the gap. So if you have done something really beautiful as this, just look at places where some people can hide under and then still commit this heinous act.
And I'm glad that even collaborators will not be left untouched, because it happens majorly because of these people. If you don't enable it, I'm talking about the JAMB officials, WAEC officials. If you don't enable it, there's no how it will happen.
And now that
even if they have the mindset.
there is a standing rule, there should be enough security for invigilators to supervisors.
And of course,
because
the punishment should be defined.
Yes.
Just like how that of the students is defined.
As an invigilator in a place where there is no security, probably you have gone to a rural area to conduct an examination, and then you say, you guys are not cheating here. Whatever happens to that person in that place is the sole responsibility of WAEC, JAMB, and every examination body in the country. So they should look into that also, because if you are adamant that something like that will not happen in your center, then you should be ready for, a form of backlash. So
if they can actually achieve
it,
honestly, I tell you, students will start reading more. And of course, they become more responsible, as a person, because you cannot begin to live your life based on expo. Imagine if you are, but that's why some politicians, when they are contesting, they now start forging their WAEC certificate, their NYC certificate, because they didn't do the work when they're supposed to do it. That's why some of my friends will tell me, I want to post my NYC pictures online, because I don't want to explain. By the time I develop an interest in politics, honestly, do the right thing, honestly.
Right, I think that would be the convenient point to lift that this morning. That's been a wonderful session in the studio so far. Link up with us on all social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Dominion Broadcast, and on X, formerly Twitter, at Dominion Cast. Watch us live on our YouTube channel at Dominion Broadcast. Do not forget to subscribe to that channel. You can also link up with us on our website, www.dominion.org.ng. Now we go on a short break. When we return, we go straight to weather report this morning. We'll be back.
Need a professional space to bring your vision to life? Dominion Television Studios offers state-of-the-art facilities perfect for your next broadcast, commercial, corporate video, or live event. With flexible rental options, cutting-edge equipment, and a supportive team, we provide the perfect environment for high-quality productions. Unleash your creativity. For bookings, email us at marketing@dominion.org.ng. Call us on 0705 506 1061 or 0916 101 1061. Check us out on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and TikTok at Dominion Broadcast and on X at Dominion Casts. Book your space today. Dominion Television, your channel of choice.
All right, welcome back from that short break. The show is still Daybreak Live right here on Dominion Television, your channel of choice. Now it's time to take weather report on this show this morning, and we head straight. Of course, we are still in Ibadan this morning. We are not heading anywhere.
We are not crossing anywhere.
And most definitely, showers already being expected. It's already being experienced in Ibadan as we speak. The weather currently feels like 23 degrees Celsius. Yes, cloudy, but there are showers in Ibadan already. And later in the day, it will rise to 28 degrees Celsius. And by night to 22 degrees Celsius, and the dew point at 23 degrees Celsius, humidity at 96%. So if you are in Ibadan, prepare for showers this morning and most definitely later in the day.
Well, let's cross over now to Ondo West. Ondo this morning, weather feels like 24 degrees Celsius, mostly cloudy around 17%. And in the afternoon, 26 degrees Celsius, thunderstorms 60%. That's quite high. In the evening, 23 degrees Celsius, mostly cloudy 18%. And overnight, 22 degrees Celsius, cloudy around 12%. If you're around Ondo today, please do well to prepare for that.
All right, still in the southwest this morning, let's head straight to Adodo in Ogun State, as weather currently feels like 24 degrees Celsius right there. And later in the morning, there will be thunderstorms right there at 26 degrees Celsius. There will be rain later in the afternoon at 27 degrees Celsius. And it will be cloudy in the evening at 25 degrees Celsius. And mostly cloudy overnight at 24 degrees Celsius. So if you are in Ogun State this morning, just prepare for the day, as there might be rainfall right there.
All right, let's cross over this morning to Osogbo, Osun, Nigeria. Weather this morning feels like 23 degrees Celsius. And of course, humidity around 97%. Wind around 3 kilometers per hour. Dew point around 22 degrees. That's what we have this morning for Osogbo, Osun State, Nigeria.
All right, heading straight to the center of excellence, Lagos, this morning. Weather currently feels like 24 degrees Celsius, and in some part of Lagos, it is currently raining right there. And later in the day, it will rise to 27 degrees Celsius, and by night, it will be around 24 degrees Celsius. Dew point is expected to be around 23 degrees Celsius, and the humidity is at 93% right there in Lagos. So if you are heading out this morning in Lagos, prepare for the day, as there is going to be rainfall.
Well, let's cross over to Owerri, Imo State, Nigeria. Weather feels like 23 degrees Celsius this morning. Wind around 3 kilometers per hour. Dew point is at 23 degrees Celsius. And of course, we have Moon Plus within Crescent. Definitely visibility is around 6.44 kilometers. That's what we have for Owerri, Imo State, Nigeria this morning.
And straight to Rivers State this morning, Port Harcourt to be precise. Weather currently feels like 21 degrees Celsius right there. And it is currently raining in some parts of Port Harcourt as we speak. And later in the day, it will rise to 25 degrees Celsius. And at night, it will be at 20 degrees Celsius. Dew point expected to be around 21 degrees Celsius. Humidity at 100% right there in Port Harcourt.
And finally, this morning, we have Bida, Nigeria. Weather feels like 24 degrees Celsius. And of course, cloudy around 16% in the afternoon, 30 degrees Celsius. Isolated thunderstorms around 30%. In the evening, 25 degrees Celsius, mostly cloudy around 15%. And overnight, 24 degrees Celsius, mostly cloudy around 11%. That's what we have this morning for Bida, Niger. Nigeria.
All right, up north again in Kaduna this morning. Let's take this one very quickly before we go. It is currently partly cloudy right there in Bida at 22 degrees, in Kaduna at 22 degrees Celsius. Later in the day it will rise to 29 degrees Celsius, and by night it will be 21 degrees Celsius right there. So be prepared as there might be a little bit of sunlight later in the day right there in Kaduna. Now that will be all on weather reports this morning. Let's go on a quick break. When we return, we'll take the news. We'll be back.
Live from the heart of the action. Welcome to the nerve center of Next Level Broadcasting.
This is the OB van, where the studio meets the street.
Equipped with cutting-edge cameras, crystal clear audio, real-time switching, and broadcast control, we don't just capture moments, we deliver the experience live.
Anywhere, anytime, from stadiums to red carpets, breaking news to buzzing festivals, weddings, birthdays, and all sorts of ceremonies. We bring the world to your screen in real time.
It's not just a van, it's a complete mobile production house, a command center, a broadcast beast.
This is more than a broadcast. This is the OB van difference. Live, loud, limitless.
Ready to go live? Like never before. Book the OB van today and take your event to the world. One powerful broadcast at a time.
To book, call 0705 506 1061 or 0916 101 1061. Email marketing@dominion.org.ng or visit our socials on Instagram @Dominion Broadcast.
Dominion Broadcast, your channel of choice.
Good morning. This is Daybreak News on Dominion Television. I am Oluwayemi Adelako. The Inspector General of Police, Kayode Adeolu Egbetukwu, has led a senior Nigerian delegation to the Global Public Security Cooperation Forum in Jiangsu Province, China. The Force Public Relations Officer, CSP Benjamin Deng, confirmed these in a statement released in Abuja. The 3D conference runs from September 16 to 18 and brings together ministers of security, chiefs of police, and law enforcement leaders from around the world to discuss joint responses to transnational crime. The Southern Caucus of the National Forum of Former Legislators has appealed for national unity and power rotation between the North and South. This decision was made at the end of the Southern Summit held in Abeokuta, Ogun State, which was convened by Femi Gbadabiamila, Chief of Staff to President Bola Tinubu, highlighting the re-election of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in 2027.
Let President Tinubu complete the 8 years of the South. Many have said that. That argument has been canvassed, it has been made, and it continues to be made. That argument cannot be faulted. And I support it wholly for sake of unity, fairness, and
the Southern Caucus commended the Northern Caucus for promoting the completion of the South's leadership tenure.
Complete their tenure. The forum is of the belief that it will be in the best interest of the North for the incumbent to complete the tenure of the South.
This afternoon, seeing the Northerners putting their heads together and still confirming that these slots belong to the South.
I align myself with the chairman of Northern Forum of Legislators, of former legislators, Honorable Rufai Chachangi, and the erstwhile Speaker, Right Honorable Patricia Ete. The South must finish its 8 years.
Key figures at the summit included Ogun State Governor Dapo Abiodun and former Senate President Ken Namani, as well as other notable politicians from the APC. The People's Democratic Party National Legal Advisor Kamadeen Ajibade has stated that as part of effort to resolve the party's looming internal crisis, discipline has been enforced for erring members. Speaking during an interview, he affirmed that the zoning of the party's presidential ticket to the south is in alignment with the party's internal democracy and constitution. Ajibade, however, urged political office holders to continue to pursue their ambitions discreetly to avoid havoc to the party they represent. The palace of the Alaafin of Oyo, Oba Abimbola Akinmowade, has debunked reports claiming that a new chief imam has been appointed for the ancient town. Director of Media and Publicity to the monarch, Bode Durojai, in a statement issued in Ibadan, Oyo State, described the reports as false and misleading, explaining that the process of selecting a new chief imam was still ongoing, also stressing that consultations were being carried out to ensure fairness. Durojai further maintained that the appointment of the chief imam remained the exclusive preserve of the Alaafin. Away from Oyo State, Ogun State Governor Dapo Abiodun has announced that the state has received approval to establish its division of a court of appeal. Governor Abiodun disclosed these are the special church service ushering in the 2025-26 legal year held at the Cathedral of St. Peter, Ake, Abeokuta, in Ogun State capital. He reiterated that his administration, aside from providing the needed ambience, will continue to facilitate and strengthen the judicial process to ensure equitable dispensation and efficient administration of justice in the state. The Association of Resident Doctors in the Federal Capital Territory Administration has begun an indefinite strike. This was disclosed in a communique issued by the ARDFCT, signed by its president, Dr. George Ibong, and General Secretary, Dr. Abo Afiong. The decision followed the association's 7-day warning strike, which ended after an emergency general meeting. The doctors are demanding payment of salary arrears ranging from 1 to 6 months owed to members employed since 2023. They also request the immediate recruitment of new staff, settlement of the 2025 Medical Residency Training Fund, and payment of arrears resulting from the 25 to 35% upward review of the consolidated medical salary structure. In business, Nigeria's inflation rate has declined for the 5th consecutive time to 21.1% in August, down from 21.8% in July 2025, amid a drop in food prices. This is according to the National Bureau of Statistics (NBS) August Consumer Price Index, and inflation rate data that was released. Similarly, the food inflation rate stood at 1.65% on a month-on-month basis. In sports, Nigeria's Tobi Amusan has won silver in the women's 100 meters hurdles at the World Athletics Championships in Tokyo, finishing after Switzerland's Dati Kambonji, which stalled the field to take gold in the national record. Kambonji in 12.24 seconds eclipsed her previous best to secure Switzerland's first ever world title in the event. Amusan followed closely in 12.29 seconds to earn Nigeria's 12th medal in World Championships history. You can visit our website in www.dominion.org.ng to watch us live and interact with us. You can also follow us across our social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and LinkedIn at Dominion Broadcast, and X at Dominion Cast. And that's Daybreak News. Thank you for watching. I am Oluwayemi Adelagun saying good morning.
Need a professional space to bring your vision to life? Dominion Television Studios offers state-of-the-art facilities perfect for your next broadcast, commercial, corporate video, or live event. With flexible rental options, cutting-edge equipment, and a supportive team, we provide the perfect environment for high-quality productions. Unleash your creativity. For bookings, email us at marketing@dominion.org.ng. Call us on 0705 506 1061 or 0916 101 1061. Check us out on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and TikTok at Dominion Broadcast and on X at Dominion Cast. Book your space today. Dominion Television, your channel of choice.
Welcome you back. Thank you for staying with us this morning. This is newspaper headlines analysis on Dominion Television, Ibadan. And my name is Oluwayemi Adelako. And of course, let's start from Daily Trust this morning. I have this headline that says, amidst peace deal in Katsina, bandits abduct 55 in Zamfara. Then it looks like the peace deal did not work at all because about 40 persons were abducted, at a mosque. And of course, a parish priest was also abducted, just recently. And you begin to wonder, apart from this peace deal, apart from, the necessary, officials that has been put in place, the money being pumped, that is pumped into insecurity, what is really going on in the country, especially in the northern part of this country. A lot to unpack, speaking about insecurity in this country. Away from that headline, let's also check this one that says presidency, Atiku trade words over hunger and poverty. Just recently, the former vice president of this country, Atiku Abubakar, said the current administration is not doing enough in terms of poverty, in terms of hunger. A lot of Nigerians are still suffering, unable to actually feed properly. And Bayo Ononuga, on behalf of the presidency, came out to also say that the former VP does not even understand what is going on in the country. He's not current with the recent development in terms of the economy, in terms of inflation. And they also cited the NBS record about how inflation has dropped for the 5th time. And then apart from that, he also mentioned the fact that a lot of things have changed in the country. Prices of food have come down. So while the vice president, the former vice president, said that this administration has performed woefully in terms of trying to reduce the sufferings of the people. It's part of the stories that we'll look at this morning. Has that been done, really? Speaking about inflation, apart from seeing the figures online, are Nigerians really experiencing, what those figures are saying? Speaking about the reduction in inflation, speaking about the reduction in the prices of food and the market. These are the stories that we'll look at this morning. Away from that line, let's also check this one that says F-seated doctor strike, services grounded in hospitals. About 2 days ago, I think I read a story while the doctors, in some part of the country called off the strike, saying that they are giving the federal government another 7 days. And then the story also mentioned that, the federal government has been able to sort some of their demands, but they still have quite a number of demands that must be sorted out. And of course, on that note, they are giving the federal government another 7 days so that they can, work on their demands. However, this headline is saying FCT doctor strike, services granted in hospitals. At this point in time, are we really paying much attention to our health sector? Because when issues like this happen, Nigerians suffer for it. A lot of them might be asked to go back home. Why? Because a strike is going on. So apart from, trying to face all of the areas of the country, trying to tar the roads, construct the roads and the likes, I think health is very important in this country. I mean, if we are battling with insecurity, we are battling with inflation. I mean, we cannot also be battling, with situations around health. So because I think we deserve more as a country. So I think at this high time, the federal government looked into this matter in terms of, looking for a way to actually balance this issue, have a good meeting with these people, and of course let them tell you what they need, and of course let there be a balance on this particular matter. Because for like 4 weeks now, even over 4 weeks, you keep seeing issues around, doctors are threatening to go on strike. Okay, they have called off the strike. I mean, we shouldn't be seeing that in the country anymore. Away from that headline, I also have this one that says Tinubu cuts short vacation, returns to Nigeria today. Don't forget, while the president was going to embark on that journey, a lot of Nigerians and of course politicians, criticized that move to say that why is the president, traveling, every now and then when the country is still going through a lot. Notable among those politicians are the likes of Peter Obi and of course members of the ADC and of course the Labour Party, saying why should the president keep spending money. However, that has been debunked by members of the presidency to say that the president is trying to attract investors, trying to speak to those people so that they can come down to Nigeria and of course invest their business. So it's not just about the president trying to gallivant all over the world. Away from Daily Trust this morning, let's cross over to The Guardian. I have this headline that says 2027, Nigerians won't accept technical glitch excuses. PW wants INEC. I also read a particular story speaking about the ADC, saying that, it will be better for INEC to transmit result online. And of course, it will help reduce corruption and the likes. Apart from that, Labour Party has also said something similar to say that they support online transmission of result 100%. And of course, INEC should work on that if they really want to be transparent in the next election. Don't forget, yesterday we talked about how the bishops, criticized INEC to say that 2023 election, was marred, by a lot of things. And of course, they should do better come 2027. Away from that headline, let's also see, check this one that says how our refinery saved Nigeria's oil sector by Dangote. I also saw an headline speaking about Nupeng and the truck drivers. Dangote also mentioned that he's not trying, to take jobs from people or take jobs from people. What he's trying to do is to create more jobs. I mean, for the people who are unemployed. And of course, Nupeng should not see this as him trying to take jobs from people and render them jobless. He's rather trying to provide more jobs for the people. And he's also saying that his refinery has saved Nigeria's oil sector. We really cannot debunk that, because looking at what Dangote refinery has done in the last few months, I think is commendable. And of course, Nigerians are expecting more from him. Away from that headline, let's also check this one that says Adeleke devastated, lament as flood ravages Osun community. Just yesterday, don't forget that there was a report that we read that about 11 states across the north, south, must be careful because of issues around flood. And of course, even Osun State is not left out because of these. Do not forget that this morning we also read the weather report to you, and then we must take note of these things. And my analyst yesterday mentioned that apart from the federal government, even the people, Nigerians themselves, must be very serious about this matter and do the needful, when necessary. Away from that, away from The Guardian, let's cross over to The Nation this morning. I have this headline that says George returns motion by Kanu to CJ for reassignment. About 2 days ago, I read a report where Nnamdi Kanu, that has been in the custody for a while now, is saying that he wants to be transferred to a national hospital for urgent medical care. And of course, the matter is still in court. And then a lot of persons are saying, will the federal government, through the court, not grant this man the right to actually, visit a national hospital because of his health, his ailing health? And of course, I really I really think this matter should be looked into properly, because we don't want anything that can incite violence across the country. Away from that line, I also have this one that says Dangote Refinery creates 24,000 jobs with 1,000 trucks rollout. I think I talked about that a few minutes ago. I have this one that says presidency, APC slam Atiku over hunger at sheep alarm. Ex-VPs lose call for federal government out of touch with positive development. We've also discussed that this morning. It's time to turn to my analyst to help me make sense of some of the top stories that we have today. And of course, I'm talking about Babatunde Babasoya, a medical consultant, and of course, a public affairs analyst. Thank you for joining us this beautiful morning.
Thank you. Good morning to you too.
Good morning. Thank you. Let's take it from this headline that says FCT doctors strike, services grounded in hospitals. What really is going on? Because over time now, we keep hearing we will go on strike, and maybe 2 days later, they call it off and they say, okay, we are waiting on the federal government to come and speak to us and of course grant our demand. What really is going on in the health sector?
You see, what happened is that the health sector is divided by manpower.
Okay.
There are some of the participants in the health sector that are called the resident doctors. Okay. Their specification is to be trained to become specialists. Okay. I had gone through one of those trainings, so that's why I'm a consultant. So anybody that gets out of the training, gets a fellowship, then is going to be appointed as a consultant. Wherever they go, good. So there are some that are just workers in the health sectors, medical officers. They're just career workers. They just specialize in what they are doing. They're not going to be the leader of the team. Okay. Really. So this training is how Nigeria has been able to keep abreast of innovation in research, in clinical governance, in clinical service delivery. You don't have residents, you don't have a health sector, period. You understand? Because not everybody can do everything. So the medical officer will not be able to do a neurosurgical procedure. You need to have a specialist trained for like 7 years to do that. To train a resident doctor, they will learn by doing, by watching their consultants do it. Okay. To do that, they need patients. They need the hospital to have service to be able to render it. So, instrument, light. One of those papers now, they said 2 people died because leper took light in Aminu Kano. So that kind of it. So usually, if there is not going to be a light, you cannot schedule surgeries. If you're not going to be a light, you cannot schedule any procedure. If you don't schedule the procedure, the residents don't learn from watching you do the procedure and the complications that come out and how you manage those complications. So you don't do that. So the residents are saying, 1, in the area of research, there is no provision for them or for any clinical worker to do research in the hospital. Research needs money. I want to call people together. I want to give them questionnaires. I want to get a statistician to run the data. I want to get this to do that.
I want to travel.
I want to go on conference. I want to go and do proceedings. I want whatever. So I want to go from Ibadan to Ado-Awaye to go and interview the pregnant women there. What's their story so far? How can we do it better? Because these are things that they do to get better, and the results that they publish is what the government will base the policies on. So that's why you don't have health policies in any part of Nigeria, state, federal. There is no local government. So let's just agree that, the concept of a local government at this point in time, as we say when we were in UI, at this position P time at T moment M.
But we have local government chairman. Are you saying that they don't function?
Let's go forward.
Okay. Okay. I get it. Okay.
Please.
Okay. It's a discussion for another
Please, don't let's discuss it another day. It's not a discussion.
Okay.
Position T, moment M, time at T, the concept of local governance in Nigeria is a moribund, dead condition. Just leave it like that. Leave it like that. Don't let's enter that matter. So, the residents are supposed to do these works. This is research. When you get the data and you do the whatever, you get the paper ready, you will publish this paper. Because that is how Nigeria gets known. That is how you put. That's why I say everybody wants to go to America. Because why? Because the people in America are doing these publications all the time.
Definitely.
Good. So when you want to publish this data, you look for the good journals. The journals that are going to put you on there. those journals will charge money to collect your paper to publish.
Yeah.
Good. So somebody must pay them in dollars to allow them. Your paper is good though. Your paper has been reviewed though. Then you pay them to publish it. So if you don't pay them, then you go and look for one journal somewhere in Oje Yemetu Axis. You publish in that one, and nobody sees the journal, and all the good work that you have done is dead. So that's research. Training is dead. Service rendering is dead.
Remuneration, what about that?
Before we even get to the fact that doctors are even talking about put money in my pocket, those ones are dead. There was a time in this country that every resident will be sponsored for a year fellowship program abroad, which kept our fellowship and the fellowship in Britain and America at par. Somewhere along the line, some never-do-wells agreed that we don't need it.
Wow.
And then they stopped it. Then the money was diverted somewhere else. I don't know where the money went, but the money was moved somewhere else. Now, if you become a doctor today, now you now have to go back all the way back to the end of the line. You're a consultant in Nigeria. You may not be a consultant when you get out of Nigeria. You will have to go back to the beginning of the line, start all over again, because they don't recognize you, because it's been such a long time that they can't trust what you're doing there. They don't even see what you're doing, because the visibility is in the papers that you're publishing. You can't publish in the papers that they will see. They are not coming to look for the paper in Ojeberry axis. They are looking for the papers at their own axis, which you must publish to, because those are the standard papers. So we have all that. We have poor manpower. Half of doctors here are on their way there. The remaining half are trying to get exams that they can do to go there. And you're not employing to replace them. So they are overworked, they are undervalued, they are underpaid. What else? They are undermotivated. What else? So, and they had signed an agreement with the federal government that you know what's going to happen. These are the things that we want you to do. Do them slowly. But trust federal government. Once the threat of strike goes, and they can go back to their motto and start to drive in their chauffeur driving vehicle with siren, and they can enjoy their AC in peace, their brain too switches off. So they don't. So the agreement was not attended to. And so sometimes last year, the resident doctors came and said, wait, what's going on here now? They wrote a letter. The letter was not attended to. Okay. Mid last year, they wrote another letter. Then at the end of last year, they wrote a third letter. So this year, January, they wrote another letter. 4 letters.
Doctor, it appears letter is not working. Even threat of strike is not working. What other ways do you think the doctors or the association can take?
Strike.
I mean, strike.
I mean, when you threaten, I will beat you. There comes a point that you will beat the person. Otherwise, you will just be a talker and no doer. So we go on strike.
But a particular strike was called off just,
no, that was the one.
Saturday morning.
Don't worry.
Okay.
The thing is not yet ready to work right now. When they down tools fully, what they are still doing is that they are doing a partial strike off and on. They're still assuming that there is some sense in the Ministry of Labor and then the Ministry of Health. That some people have some sense there. And so those people that have some sense, that even if there's this thing, they can quickly kickstart the sense. The way you push a car, then you just kickstart the car. Kick and start a vehicle.
Okay.
So this warning strikes will just to push them down the slope so that they can just jumpstart the car and then they can go back and start doing what they're supposed to do. But if that doesn't work, they do a paralytic strike, then the whole thing will shut down. Then everybody will start.
And that will affect a lot of people, a lot of Nigerians. They'll be asked to go back home.
And then President Tinubu, having understood that he's coming to do second-term election 2027, knows that he cannot afford to jeopardize the polity in Nigeria. So he will call them to order. And then when he calls the ministers to order, then they will come to the table and say, okay, guys, can the problem be by this thing now? And they will say, okay, look at the agreement that we had before now. And then they'll say, okay, you know what, please, okay, we will do this one thing now. Just go back to work, please. We'll do one thing. So they will do that one thing. Because they can't do that one thing. And once they have done that one thing, we all go back to work. When we have gone back to work,
honestly, it appears that the same issue ASU is having is the same issue that the doctors are having. There was a time federal government said they didn't sign any agreement with ASU.
They signed 2009 agreement. We're all witnesses to the matter now. But usually, this is what happens. Nigeria, if you have power comes with impunity.
Okay.
You see, ASU was unfairly punished for what they did. They declared strike because of the inadequacy, inconsistency, and just lack of care of the federal government. At the end of the day, it was the same federal government that now said to ASU, no work, no pay. And so part of that strike consequences was that ASU was not paid for the period of the strike. Meanwhile, the clowns who were the ministers of labor and the minister of education and all those characters that were there, they got paid. And it was their negligence that led to the strike. And I still do not understand how, in God's name, we can say that we are equitably and justice and we are for morality and ethics and everything. It was you who slapped me, but it was I who get blamed for crying. That's exactly what they did to us. And so now everybody that is going on strike, we know that we are going on strike. They will say no work, no pay. Okay, no problem, no work, no pay now. We will sit at home. We will go and look for work elsewhere. We are resident doctors. Our skills are in high demand. It is a bad day. Where we are with our skills now, we can command prices in the market. So what? So go to the president and tell him that we will not, until you meet these demands, we are not interested in fair spending. But we could have avoided all this last year.
Okay.
If the boys had been called to the table. See, this is the problem. Okay, we are going to slow down implementation. Just even give them the information. Respond to their letter. No. It is as if they don't exist until they go on strike. When they go on strike, then they become the bad people. I said they must suffer. You know, in Yoruba adage, it is agbaya, agbaka. Loma nomode to manikomake. It is a wicked elder that beats a child and insists that child must not cry.
And you cannot determine how the child would react even after that.
To even cry.
It's a terrible situation.
To cry. Okay. To cry is a fundamental human right. When you beat somebody, you beat him, you must cry. That's why you are beating him.
But doctor, some babies don't cry even at birth.
No, we sort them out.
Okay.
Those ones are there for us. Okay. We know how to sort those ones out.
Away from that headline, let's talk about Atiku and of course the presidency. Atiku is saying that hunger has gone up, poverty has gone up. However, the presidency came out to say that it appears Atiku has lost touch of the recent development in the country.
Everybody is talking about their own part of this story. Onanuga is defending his principle. That's what he was supposed to do. Atiku is challenging Tinubu. That's what he was supposed to do. Atiku wants to contest. Abi doesn't want to contest. He wants to contest now. So if he can make this, and then Onanuga knows that he wants to contest. However, you know the culprits in all this nonsense?
Who is that?
The governors. The governors. There is no land that is federal government land where people can farm. Governors have the powers of CFO. President don't sign CFO. The governors that do CFO. So if you buy a land now, you want to go and use it for farming now, you sign CFO. The government will give you the CFO or the right of occupancy, whatever they give you. But it's the powers of the governor that the commissioners are signing that. Now it doesn't go to Abuja. Now, for the policy to work, for the health, number one, there are some policies on the economics. I think we talked about small of it yesterday.
Yes.
In agric, there have been policies. Industrialization, agric industrialization policy, fertilizer distribution, all these things have been put down. We will see it in camera up north where they are sharing fertilizer. We have not seen a southern state sharing fertilizer. And I'm still waiting for any news station to call any governor in the southwest to say, did you get fertilizer from the federal government? Yes or no? Who did you give the fertilizers? What happened to their fertilizers? Because we don't have fertilizers here. We buy our own fertilizers as farmers. So, now, to remove everything, you know what Tinubu has done now? This is the second or the third 180-day import duty-free protocol that he has activated. He did one, I think he did one in April, May, June. This is Italy, another one in July. So July, August, September. So by the end of September, we will have done another 180 days. So we've done, how many days now? 180 plus 180. That's almost 360 days. That's almost a year of, you can import food items into the country you may not pay any duty, you may not pay any money, just food item, bring it to Nigeria. You know what is happening now? The farmers that are supposed to go to the farm are now angry. Their good associations are now annoyed. Why? Because if you bring food markets, food from abroad here, and you don't pay those prices, then they can't compete. You can hear that some places in Nigeria, the price of food that is crashing and is all whatnot. Yes, because the food is coming from abroad. It's not that the farmers here are farming. They're not making, you see. Now, if you don't make the farming lucrative, farmers will pull out of farming. Insecurity is causing them to move out of farming to run away. Now, you are not making the farm itself lucrative because people are bringing food cheaper and in bulk to the market. And when I go to the market, do I want to know if this food was grown in Nigeria or it was grown in Thailand? I just want to know which one is cheaper. Elo ni rice Congo, 100 naira. Elo ni rice Congo, 70 naira. 70 naira it is. So that's the story. Okay.
Doctor, if you're having all of this issue that you have mentioned, insecurity, a lot of people are not farming. How did we arrive at that figure that NBS is talking about? Because Bayo Onanuga cited that to say that inflation has reduced for the 5th time.
Inflation is an economic decision. The value of Naira to the dollar. The capacity of Naira to purchase something. Okay. Right now, we are not frivolously using our Naira to pursue frivolous dollars. They have floated the currency. Yes. And once you float a currency and you then say the cardinal thing that we use our money to buy is oil. We are no longer buying the oil. We are not even buying the petrol. Dangote is now shipping money out. So a lot of people are looking for Nigerian things to buy. Oil, petrol, diesel, gasoline, jet fuel, everything is going out. So if you have another Dangote somewhere else in Nigeria, by 6 months' time, with this policy, we might be talking about maybe $1 to, say, 800, 600 naira. That's serious movement. It doesn't mean that we are getting fed, though. It doesn't mean that we are okay. No. That's what you're talking about at that level. But at this level, what is the governor's policy on agriculture? The road that goes to these farms, is it a federal government road that's supposed to be tarred? No, it's the governors that's supposed to go there and tar the road so that goods can move freely. If I do my farm in Aduawaye or in Akana and there is no road to bring the food market to Bodija, Bodija is where they will buy the market and I can't move it there. The people in Akana are not going to go there and buy the market. We're all farmers, so we're all just going to be living around where we're growing. So at the end of the day, food gets rotten in Akana, gets expensive in Bodija. You don't go to Akana, you go to Bodija. So you will say that food is expensive. But if you get to Akana and you struggle, you carry your truck, you get there, you buy the thing cheap. When you are coming back, your first tire moves out, your second tire moves out. And when boys who are Loju, you have to settle them. The boys, both thugs and scoundrels in uniform with guns, they tax you all the way. And then you realize that, okay, at the end of the day,
you have to share it.
You have to make profit, so you put everything together. These are the reasons why if you call somebody here, when you finish the program now, let's look for somebody that we can call in any station in the north and say, how much do they sell a cow in the north? How much do they sell a full-size cow in the north? And then you compare it to the price of how much we sell a full-size cow in Ibadan. You will say, why is it? Because the cow is not going to manufacture, it's not going to get developed. They are not feeding it in transit. The only difference is the cost in transit between the north and the south. What is the thing in the cost in transit? Every state that you get to, from that place to this place, you settle some people. Are you thinking the man is not going to pay for that settlement now? He's going to factor it and put it on the price that he will sell. Which is why those Fulani people will move their cattle to the jungle to come and sell here. And it will be cheaper. And it is a policy that the governors must determine.
So if you can work on our,
if they can work it out, you can work better. Transportation and logistics out. This is why perennially, this is why Nupeng is going to die. They are just fighting to not die.
I don't think they are willing to die. They are slugging it out with Dangote.
It is not a matter of will or not will. You see, in the history of civilization, use America for example. Okay. 1700, 1800, America, they were just riding horses. 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 And you know when you ride horses, you have carriages, there are a lot of people, and these horses will ride on the road. All the roads that you see in America, most of them have been done in those times too. And the horses are riding on them. So the horses will drop their fecal, whatever. There are some people that use job, they clean the place. Some people's job to shoot the horses, to maintain this one, to do veterinary. A lot of allied services to ensure that industry moves. We have ranching stations. So if you are coming from Ibadan, you are going to Lagos. You from Ibadan, you will get to maybe a toll gate. There will be another set of horses that will carry you. So you will unhook, you will go on. So that you don't stop. You know, you have express, you have coach. We have different stages. In 1908, a man called Henry Ford developed the assembly line for vehicles. 1908. By 1910, America started to buy cars because then it became cheap enough that everybody could start to buy cars.
And these issues, I think they led to the Roaring Twenties in America.
In 1920, there was no horse in America on the road. This 1910, the first car got on the road. 1920, there was no horse on the road again.
But there was a stock market crash in 1929.
And then the stock market survived. It was another thing entirely that led to the stock market crash.
Okay.
It was not because of the... But in 10 years, 1910, 1920, and the entire economy was upturned by one invention. One man's wheel. Ford. Put the car on the road. Make it available to people. Make it good. Nobody bought horses again. In 1910, when that car came on the road, you could not gift a horse away to people. You couldn't to lose a horse. People were in this Ibadan. If you know what they call the election lawyer, that place. It belonged to a family of people that were so wealthy that they could maintain horses in the harshest of circumstances. Oye is when there was no water, drought, everything. So that they could maintain their horses at that time. The one election lawyer, it was a testament to wealth for them. That was the name, the origin of that name. Our election lawyer. That's the real meaning of what that name connotes. Our election lawyer. It's not that it's just Oja. It's a name of a family. By 1920 in America, there was no need for horses. By that time, everything changed. 1914 to 1918, they were doing World War I.
Yes.
By 1920, there was no horse. So from 1920 on, nobody will get horses on the war front. Tanks came, cars came, armored vehicle came, APC came, whatever came. From that point on, we moved where? Forward. We can only look back and look at what we have done in history now. So Dangote saying he is taking over the logistics of his business because it will allow him to deliver fuel at cheaper prices than before is a strategic move. If NNPC or Pengasan or who are the other ones, or Petro, anybody that doesn't like what he's saying, just gather your money together, get another $20 billion, go build your refinery somewhere.
He's even saying that he's not trying to take away jobs from people, buy more trucks. He wants to create employment.
He's putting 10,000 trucks in the market. 10,000 trucks times 2 drivers each for a truck is 20,000. That's 20,000 families that he's going to start sorting out properly. And he pays well. Seriously well.
Okay.
He pays seriously well.
Okay, doctor. Away from that story, I do hope that Peng and Pengasat, I hope they can sort their matter with Dangote.
Don't sort it out. They shouldn't sort it out.
Okay.
The thing will sort out by itself. It is just, it will just, you see, life sorts out all these shenanigans by just sorting out them. Once he puts the trucks on the road, and there are people there are press stations who have registered with Dangote.
Definitely.
They will get fuel. The only thing the NNPC can do now is to go sabotaging Dangote's trucks. And I mean, this is Nigeria.
I don't think that should happen in a very same country.
This is Nigeria. Is it police that you are going to use against Dangote? Is it police? Who are you going to use to sabotage at Dangote?
Let's see how that will play out, doctor.
It was the last time they said they put truck, they blocked the entrance of his refinery. They do all this. They are the last throes of their demise. So I don't see them as making any. The 10,000 trucks are coming. 1,000 has just arrived. They are making noise. You know what is going to happen when the next tranche of truck comes now. Meanwhile, people are queuing up to register to become his driver, and they are graduates.
Because people are in need of a job.
All the while that we are talking about, when NNPC brought adulterated fuel into Nigeria. You didn't see Nupeng and Pegasan and anybody to go on the street to say, no, that's going to happen. That's not going to happen.
But this is not the first time that they are trying to deal with Dangote in terms of...
It is every time. It is Dangote now. The only person now who has brought, you know that the NMDPRC, the controller, the agency of government that regulates the downstream and midstream oil sector, they do not have a laboratory to test oil that they bring into Nigeria. They don't have. Only Dangote has the laboratory in Nigeria. Now, all the while that we've been doing subsidy, they've been bringing pure water adulterated with diesel and cow piss, and we'll be putting inside our car. Thank God that we are using prayers a lot in Nigeria. That's why we've been able to. So when you put anything in your car, just in Jesus' name, amen. Zoom. And then the angel will carry you. That's what we've been driving in Nigeria. We've not been doing anything correct in this country. NNPC, nobody came out to say, no, all the cars that knocked. Did anybody call them to say, bring your car? Nigeria government is going to feed it for free. Even though the minister said that that's what they promised us. They promised that they are going to fix all those things. Nobody fixed anything for anybody. She buy, it didn't happen. Put that one aside. Why is it Dangote that we are all clamoring about now? When the Nigerian government bungled the secondary schools, bungled it to the point where an average Nigerian working cannot send his or her pupil to a public secondary school. Now, everybody goes to a private secondary school. Everybody now goes to a private secondary school.
But we still have people in public schools.
Well, whatever. But people go to... Go and look at it now. When I was going to secondary school in Abeokuta, I went to school in Abeokuta. I grew up in Abeokuta. It was only Alaba Lossin, Chief Mrs. Alaba Lossin. Then the, I think the Otunja Lady of Egbala and Darata. Only Lossin was the only private secondary school in Abeokuta. Only Lossin. The whole school. We went from Abeokuta to Ibadan. I came to study medicine here. We were all Jet, Stan, whatever. We were winning championship here in Nigeria. For Nigeria, we were public school products. And our fathers before us told us that they were even much better trained. So, suddenly, you go and look at the Jet tournaments that they've been doing now. How many times have you seen a public school candidate become the Jet students in Nigeria? None. Private school. And then the Oyo State government will now come and say it's from our state. It is not from your state. The guy that is doing the work there. You are just there doing the... You should fire your commissioner for that reason. However, the Nigerian Union of Teachers belong to the Union of LLC. Did you see NLC go out on street to say all teachers in all private school must unionize by UNUT? Did you see anybody talk about it? All the Nigerian principals in secondary school belong to the ANCOPS, all Nigerian Conference of Principals. I know why, because I have done, at least for like 3 years, back to back, we won the championship in ANCOPS. So I remember that name, all Nigerian Conference of Principals of Secondary School.
No, it appears that the government has failed woefully.
So those ones are gone. ASU, Public University. Who is the Union of Private Universities? It's not ASU. Nobody is carrying out placard on that matter. That time, now, all the story, international labor law, of which Nigeria is a signatory, a unionized member is...
But doctor, do you know that there are still some parents who would prefer to send their kids to federal school, even when they have the money for private, because they believe that the standard is still there? Speaking about some federal universities in the country, as you speak.
Some of us are sending our kids to federal university. They've not embarrassed the federal universities completely. Federal universities are resisting the embarrassment because they saw it coming. They saw the secondary school that they've been wasted. So they are now trying to resist. So that's why you are seeing anybody say autonomy, trying to make sure that things are a bit standardized. The federal universities are inviting public-private partnership now, so that we're not going to be waiting for government to do this thing for us. Let's just get people to do it for us. We will get them to pay for it. If you go to UI today, now I can count at least 4 private hostels in UI. When I was in UI, there was no... Okay, by the time I was graduating from UI, private hostels came.
We need to go, honestly. So, I know of St. Anne's. I know of the likes.
St. Anne's came after.
Yes.
Irawo and Imoran were the private hostels that I met when I got to UI. And it was a religious thing. It was a Catholic-based thing. It was not for all comers. That's where you go. So, at the end of this whole shenanigan, NLC is playing by double standard. And you know why? Dangote pays his staff an average of, see all these things that we're talking about.
Okay.
Is check dues. It's called check dues. Check dues is what the Inopen will take from.
Unfortunately, we need to go, doctor. Time is no longer on our side.
So, this is what, and for this one, we've done an estimate, a low estimate calculation. almost in the realm of like 50M per month that the NUPENG stands to lose if the Dangote workers don't unionize. 50M per month.
It's a serious issue. And I think politics is everywhere in this country.
We are here when all the telecommunication people came and Nitel died. Did anybody rise up to say, when these discos came and NEPA died, are they not members of the union?
Dr.
Senator Adams Oshiomhole was in textile in Kaduna. That's this union, textile. Where are the textile union members? Where are the textile factories in Nigeria? Dead. Did anybody talk?
We'll have this conversation some other time because I mean it's a lot to unpack about all of these things. These are the issues that we have in this country, and I believe that when politicians say that they don't know what is causing it, I think I really do not buy into that. So they know most of the reasons why they're facing this. A big thanks to you, Babatunde Babasa, a medical consultant, and of course a public affairs analyst, for joining this fire take session this morning. Thank you for being a part of the session.
Thank you very much.
And of course, please stay with us. A big story will come up soon, and Samson Balogun is waiting.
Need a professional space to bring your vision to life? Dominion Television Studios offers state-of-the-art facilities perfect for your next broadcast, commercial, corporate video, or live event. With flexible rental options, cutting-edge equipment, and a supportive team, we provide the perfect environment for high-quality productions. Unleash your creativity. For bookings, email us at marketing@dominion.org.ng. Call us on 0705 506 1061 or 0916 101 1061. Check us out on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and TikTok at Dominion Broadcast and on X at Dominion Cast. Book your space today. Dominion Television, your channel of choice.
Live from the heart of the action. Welcome to the nerve center of Next Level Broadcasting.
This is the OB van, where the studio meets the street.
Equipped with cutting-edge cameras, crystal clear audio, real-time switching, and broadcast control, we don't just capture moments, we deliver the experience live.
Anywhere, anytime, from stadiums to red carpets, breaking news to buzzing festivals, weddings, birthdays, and all sorts of ceremonies. We bring the world to your screen in real time.
It's not just a van, it's a complete mobile production house, a command center, a broadcast beast.
This is more than a broadcast. This is the OB van difference. Live, loud, limitless.
Ready to go live? Like never before. Book the OB van today and take your event to the world. One powerful broadcast at a time.
To book, call 0705 506 1061 or 0916 101 1061. Email marketing@dominion.org.ng or visit our socials on Instagram @Dominion Broadcast.
Dominion Broadcast, your channel of choice.
Good morning, Nigeria. This is Daybreak Live on Dominion Television, and you are tuned in to the big story, where we break down the issues that shape our democracy and our daily lives. Today, we turn the spotlight on the surge in political party registrations in Nigeria, with new names emerging and old parties being delisted by the electoral umpire. We ask, is this expansion strengthening democracy or simply diluting the choices before the electorates? Samson Balogun is my name. Nigeria's political journey has been shaped by the presence and absence of parties. From the pre-independence era with NCNC of Nnamdi Azikiwe and the Action Group of Obafemi Awolowo, and the NPC led by Ahmadu Bello, to the military interventions that repeatedly dissolved party structures, the nation has witnessed a cycle of birth, ban, and rebirth of political platforms. In the Fourth Republic especially, we have seen a proliferation of political parties, some of which were household names, while others barely survived beyond registration. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has at different times wielded its constitutional powers to register fresh parties and to delist inactive ones, most recently pruning over 70 in 2020. So the question is clear. Does the growth in party registration deepen our democracy by expanding representation? Or does it overwhelm voters with too many options, many of which lack grassroots presence or ideological foundation? Joining me this morning to unpack this issue is the senior editor of the Nigerian Tribune, Sam Nwoko. Good morning to you.
Good morning. Good to be here.
Good to have you here once again.
Thank you.
There's a pressing issue we want to discuss this morning, and that has a lot to do with the electoral umpire in the country, INEC, political parties, and most definitely the federal government. We have seen a recent surge in registration of political parties, which most likely will end up being some of the delisted parties after the election. Now, we are seeing them again. Most of them have no grassroots connections. Most of them do not even have a party chairman at some local governments, even in their wards. And they are beginning to register again. So, why are we here? 70 of them were delisted in the year 2020. And we are having more registrations. What happened to the ones that were delisted? Why are we having new ones?
Once again, I want to say good morning and good to be here. I sometimes wonder myself, but generally we have come to the agreement to a flatbed that the dynamism in our polity has kept us where we are and has raised this question that has ignited this discussion today. There have been times when parties would be, some would even rise up to say, okay, delist these parties, delist certain political parties. But when you delete some others will come up for registration. When you delete some will apply for registration. Most recently, of course, even ADA, that seemed to have been a flown flag at some point, has been approved for registration. So we keep having this cycle, and that boils down to our constitution. The constitution, guarantees freedom of association, and once that is still there, we'll keep having these we'll keep dancing in this cycle. And that's what I think has been the reason why we keep going back and forth on this same issue.
Now, in the early days, political parties like the NCNC, NPC, even Action Group, yeah, they all had clear political ideologies. They all had plans, and they have roots in all local governments, wards, and units. Now we are having political parties who some tagged as a mushroom political parties at some point. I'm using that quote as it was tagged like that because some of them really do not have what we call
the structure,
or
the
a
presence,
presence in some places. And some parties are regional. You find them in some places and then they will not be in some other regions. This has been the trend. Now, when we talk about political parties in Nigeria, have Nigerian parties ever really been about ideas or just an individual with personality saying, I want to have a political party and that will be all?
Oh, Nigerian parties started out so very ideologically. I remember the UPN. The UPN had an ideology and it was a 5-pronged ideology, one of which is the free education we still talk about up till today. You know, so we had parties that came up with clear-cut, distinct ideologies. The National Party of Nigeria had a different ideology entirely. It was talking about reintegration and carrying the entire Nigerians along and so on. But what happens is that over the years, there has been this progressive dilution of ideologies. There has been this, you know, gradual erasure of things ideal, things academic in our polity. It has been taken over by what some people will refer to as Jegulu Jera. Some people will refer to it as thuggery. Some people will refer to it as winner takes all, and so on and so forth. But over the years, there has been this gradual erosion of ideas in our polity, and it boils down to the winner takes all mentality that has taking over our polity today. So it's a problem that we didn't have at the initial stage, but now it has become a major issue in our polity. When Chief Bola Ige referred to 5 political parties of the era of the military, that's Abacha, as 5 fingers of a leprous hand, he was referring to 5 political parties with the same ideology. All of them pointed towards one thing.
One direction.
Making the military president to transmute him to become a civilian president. That was its ideology, and they were working towards it until circumstances changed in the meanwhile. But what happened afterwards is the emergence of one of them is still alive till today. That's the People's Democratic Party, and that one also came with its own ideology. But over the years, all these things have been eroded. So it hasn't always been that our parties don't have ideologies. They did have ideologies, but now I don't think ideologies are still reigning as it is. You know, not be statistics we go chop. Not be everybody does not. Nobody cares about figures. Nobody cares about theories now. It is waiting the ground. What's on the ground? Let's practice it. Let's dance with the crowd. Let's play along with the, you know, if you can't beat them, you join them. Nobody stands up for anything. Everybody stands up for everything.
Okay. Now, there's a question I would love to ask you, but then let's go on a quick break. When we return, the show continues. We'll be back.
Need a professional space to bring your vision to life? Dominion Television Studios offers state-of-the-art facilities perfect for your next broadcast, commercial, corporate video, or live event. With flexible rental options, cutting-edge equipment, and a supportive team, we provide the perfect environment for high-quality productions. Unleash your creativity. For bookings, email us at marketing@dominion.org.ng. Call us on 0705 506 1061 or 0916 101 1061. Check us out on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and TikTok at Dominion Broadcast and on X at Dominion Casts. Book your space today. Dominion Television, your channel of choice.
All right, welcome back from that short break. The show is still Daybreak Live right here, Dominion Television, and this is the big story. I've had with me in the studio this morning a senior editor with the Nigerian Tribune, Sam Nwoko. With him, we have been making sense of this particular topic. Surge in political party registrations. Is it strengthening democracy or diluting of choices right here on Dominion Television? Sam Nwoko, welcome back.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now, I want to ask you this question very quickly. If INEC registers weak political parties, is it protecting democracy or silencing some smaller voices?
I would say it is protecting democracy, because democracy is what you define it to be in your own circumstance. Our democracy cannot be like the American democracy. We may have modeled it after it, but it cannot be. There is democracy in Great Britain. Do we practice the same kind of democracy? Do we have the same kind of ideologies and so on? No.
But we copied their models.
Yes. What it means is that we have our own brand. You know, I remember Obasanjo bringing up what he called homegrown democracy that time. And what he meant is that, look, define what you want to do and how you want to do it in the context of the fluid
peculiarity of the country.
Yeah, peculiarity of the country in the framework of the fluid term democracy. So it's your democracy, but at the same time you are practicing it in your own way. In the Catholic Church, they call it ecumenism. You come down to the level of your own language. You use local instruments. Preach the gospel
your way,
in your own local way that will suit your environment. So design your own democracy to suit your environment. Political parties, you see, INEC did not even just start to deregister political parties like that. I remember the Justice Development and Peace Commission in Ekiti once wrote formally and even went as far as threatening to go to court, because so many political parties will come, contest elections, they won't win anything, but they will get allowances. Parties used to get allowances in this country. Right. They will get allowances, they will do so many things without impacting on the polity. They will not win, not even a unit or a word and so on. And they are still there on the books. So if we had continued that type of practice, if we had continued that practice, what it means is that by now we may have more than the 91 political parties that are on the papers. We may be having like 1,000, because everybody will find a way to squeeze into that narrow form. So what it means is that if INEC deregisters a political party based on stated rules and guidelines, then it is helping our own brand of democracy.
All right. Now, should INEC make it more difficult to register political parties in the country?
Well, the Constitution will definitely debar INEC from making it more difficult. You know, the rules are there. INEC has tried to tighten the noose a little bit and make it a bit more tidier. But before now, it wasn't that easy. Before now, it wasn't that difficult. Once an association is formed and you tell them you have a headquarters at the Federal Capital Territory and you have secretariats in the 36 states of the Federation, you get your party registered, regardless of whether you have them in the local governments, in the wards, and in the units. You know, even up to today as we speak, look at the ADC. I bet that not many Nigerians would discuss ADC effectively, if not that ADC was subsumed by the coalition. If that didn't happen, not many people, in fact, some people thought ADC was a new party. Right. But ADC has been contesting election in Anambra. At least I remember 2010, then before 2010, 2006. You know, Okera Osmosu, the man who happens to be the national chairman of the party, has been contesting election in Anambra since that time. He had his office somewhere in Oka. He's from that town, so he has always been there. So if not that the coalition took over that political party, not many people will know ADC. As we sit here now, I don't know who the party state chairman of ADC is in Oyo State. So everybody knows that. So what that means is that we have all those political parties hidden somewhere, hibernating somewhere. They are just there waiting for something to ignite. They are like so-called sleeping giants. And when anybody who has the wherewithal, the means, and the charisma steps into those political parties, they come alive again. That shouldn't be the way we run our democracy. INEC is, to me, on that regards, doing a good job because they are guided by the Constitution, regardless of whatever misgivings we may have in how INEC has been doing its things in the past few years.
So if new political parties are springing up at this time, is it that we're having issues with real representation, or this is just a political business as usual?
It's a political business, fair and square. Now, from the political business, you can now begin to plug in ideologies, begin to plug in thoughts about, okay, what do we do to the people? How do we get them? Because the politician does not sit down and plan. The modern politician, let me put it that way, the politicians of today are not sitting down to plan how the community is going to be. They are sitting down to plan how they will win an election. So after winning the election, they now say, okay, it will be like a case of two books. Let me read the first book. When I become successful with the first book, I'll now know how to deal with the second book. The second book is what they want to do for the people. So what they want to do for the people will be one of the peripheral things in the first book, which they have read, so that when they ask them questions, they will have answers to that. So that is how political parties operate in Nigeria, regardless of who is where. So that said, the second angle to it is that political parties are funded more like by people who have the structure of that party in their pockets, in their hands, and under their control. That is why a governor invested in that political party. And you buy forms for millions of naira, you sponsor nearly everybody around you. Once you declare interest that you want to contest an election under a political platform, on a political platform, the people of that community will begin to call you by the name of that office you want to go to. Even though sometimes they mean it as mockery.
An aspirant is called His Excellency.
Excellency, yes. And he's yet to get a political party's ticket and so on. So those people would have invested so much in that party that...
An aspirant is called Honorable.
Yes. Lord and master of that political party. And that is what it has been in this country. Before now, it was not like that. When we were much younger, when we were in primary school, we know very well that the party chairman can summon a governor and say, who told you to do that? That is not part of the things we have planned as a political party. And it was working. The party will decide who does what. It is not the governor who will decide what the party will do. It is the party that will decide what the governor, and everybody has that ideology in their skulls.
So where was the point where political parties got it wrong?
Very good. Thank you for that question. For me, my assumption or my presumption is that from 1999 till we grew to this level, it has, like we started, it kept eroding. We have bastardized so many things as a people. It's not even just political parties. Anything that comes into this country, we find so very many ways to unplug the essence of that thing. We do it even up to the level of cars. When you see a car pass, they call it a muzzle. When you see a car, they say, no, it's gone. It's Honda Bullet.
Some
they say it's
one Spider,
Honda Spider,
so forth.
But the original idea, the owners of those ideas never called them those things. The exit of, let me say, Yaradua. By Yaradua, Jonathan tried a little bit to hold on to certain, he was trying to be as democratic as he could be, but we termed it as weakness, which he actually displayed in certain areas. So that we must state. And it was the first of its kind. He came and he was giving women wrappers. He was giving them packages, goodie bags. It was very strange. It had never happened before. So he won his election so overwhelmingly that nobody queried, because they knew that he won that election. So it became an idea. Then radio jingles began that if you collect rice so you can vote, became less and less of party ideology, but the idea of individuals who have got the financial muscle to put. Nobody in any political party can query a governor or a president. In fact, a governor, let alone the president. But when someone like Chief Adisa Akinloye was the chairman of the National Party of Nigeria, they would summon President Shehu Shagari. You can summon him to Ibadan here and say, Mr. President, no, that is not what we were elected to do. The party says this is the way to go. We read that the leader of the UPN wanted Chief Emmanuel Alayande to be the governor of Oyo State to contest. But the elements in the party, the young elements in the party, wanted Chief Bola Ige. But Chief Awolowo could have said, hey, this is my party. He had the wherewithal to say, no, this is what we want. But the young people, they put it to vote, and the young people won. And they said, okay, you have won. I wish you well. Can that happen today? It is the governor that will say, oh yeah, you wait, you will not go now. The leader of the party will say, okay, His Excellency has spoken. But then, even
the leaders will wait for the governor to make a decision.
to make a pronouncement. So the erosion has been coming. It became more pronounced post 1999, 2003. You saw money at play, and the weaponization of poverty has also increased this. That is why you see people camp in the houses of politicians, let me put it that way. You see them camp in the houses of politicians because of what they will get. You see them camp at their doorsteps every morning. They will be hailing them, being the one.
Political parties on the ballot. Will the people
get confused though? Even parties have a way of designing their names, determining their names to start with A, so that they can be
right there
at the top. Because the ones which are down there, they will say, it's before people will now begin to fold their, go down the line to. That's also part of it, and that's because individuals have decided so much. Individuals are the ones who are making the excuse me. Individuals are the ones who fund these political parties. It is no longer people who contribute to the parties to say, okay, this is how we want it to be. No, it is how the leader of the party wants.
And as a two-party system stage.
Multi-party system will also work because we are multilingual and we have so many things that excuse me. We have so many things that are lines that are deciphering so many things. So party will remain different, but we'll still have some major ones which are very strong and which will be dominant. And in that dominance, you have others who may form alliance. I remember one senator in Delta North. I have his name in my brain. It just won't come out. Now, that senator was denied PDP ticket. And PDP was dominant in Delta State. They denied him the PDP ticket. He went to, I think it was Action Alliance, one obscure political party, and won Olokere, Action Alliance, the party with the squirrel as his logo. And he won the election. And he told them in PDP, he said, you see, after he won the election, he now went back to the PDP. So it will still be multi-party, one way or the other. And in America, we know two, Democrats and Republicans, but there are still other political parties. Right. Yeah, they may be very little, but they will be there. So when the chances arise, they will key into that one and do what they want.
Very quickly before we go, just in 30 seconds, what lessons should Nigeria learn from other countries who also practice multi-party system?
I think we should learn the need to stick to ideologies. We should design an ideology and keep to the party programs. Let parties be parties. Let the party is doing, they will go back and vote the other political party. But if we keep voting based on individuals, then individuals will continue to rule us at their whims and at their desires and caprices.
Right, thank you, Sam Woku, for joining us on the show this morning.
Thank you.
It has been a wonderful session with you. We do hope that you'll be here next time, as there's a lot to unpack as regards this particular topic.
Thank you very much.
Now, as Nigeria looks forward for the future elections, the role and relevance of the political parties remain central to our democratic experience. Whether this surge becomes a strength depends on how these parties move beyond mere registration to genuine mobilization, clear ideology, and sustainable the quality of choices they present to the people. That's the big story on Daybreak Live. Stay tuned. More conversations are coming your way here on Dominion Television. Samson Balogun is my name. Up next is Trend Watch. We'll be back.
cutting-edge equipment, and a supportive team. We plus on 0705 506 1061 or 0916 101 1061. Check us out on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and TikTok at Dominion Broadcast and on X at Dominion Cast. Book your space today. Dominion Television, your channel of choice.
All right, welcome back from that short break. The show is still Daybreak Live right here on Dominion Television. This is the Tuesday edition. Do well to link up with us on all social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, at Dominion Broadcast, and on X, formerly Twitter, at Dominion Cast. You can also watch us live on our YouTube channel. Do well to subscribe to that channel. Of course, press the notification button. Anytime we go live, you'll definitely get a notification. Of course, drop your comment there too. We'll take them on this show. You can also link up with us on our website, www.dominion.org.ng. Now it's time for Trend Watch. We'll take you around the world of social media and, of course, what's happening and where's the buzz coming from. Yemi Adelakun is here in the studio with me.
And I'm glad to be back. Well done.
Interesting. There's a very important, news that broke yesterday. You can't fault the National Bureau of Statistics for doing what they do, determining the level of inflation in the country, putting the statistics out there for everyone to see. But most definitely, a lot of people have, resentments against, these publications anytime they come out. Like, oh, are we seeing, this same thing in reality? Not just on paper. So yesterday, Nigeria's inflation drops to 20.112% in August. That's coming from the Bureau of Statistics. But then, some people had a lot to say. And they're talking about what they said. Nigeria's headline inflation slowed to 20.12% in August 2025, down from 21.88% recorded in July. According to the National Bureau of Statistics, NBS, this represents a decline in 1.76 percentage points. The NBS noted that the month-on-month inflation rate stood at 0.74% in August compared to 1.99% in July, showing a slower pace of price increases. Food inflation rose by 1.65% on a monthly basis. Now, year on year, the inflation rate was 12.03% points lower than the 32.15% recorded in August 2024. The Consumer Price Index, CPI, also rose to 1.26.8% in August from 125.9% in July. Now, despite the decline, concerns remain over the rising cost of living, with calls on federal government to introduce policies that will ease the pressure on households. Yemi.
Okay, so I think I would love to speak on that definitely, because just recently Bayo Ononuga even came out to defend, this recent development when the former Vice President Atiku Abubakar said, he doesn't understand what this current administration is doing in terms of, poverty, in terms of hunger, and of course the prices of food in the market. And Bayo Ononuga is saying that maybe Atiku has lost touch of the recent developments. And then, he cited this new MBS, start to say that things are getting better better. But then when it comes to the reality, you know, are people seeing this, I mean, in their daily lives? Are they experiencing ease, you know, compared to, we cannot begin to compare 2024 to 2025. Obviously, you know, things were much, you know, fair in terms of price. You know, you cannot begin to compare the price of fuel. How much was a bag of rice last year? How much was one spaghetti, you know, last year compared to 2025? Yes, the government is working. And of course, you know, most of the defense is that, okay, the government is just 2 years in office. And of course, we should give them more time to actually actualize, you know, some of the things that they've started policies, you know, when they came on board. But then Nigerians want to really see, you know, change in their lives. They want to see, you know, just like, you know, the theme for this administration. They want to see, they want to feel the impact. Okay, so it's not just about, you know, putting pen to paper. Aside from the old start, people don't even understand, most people don't understand these inflation figures, except for people who are in this line or people who have decided to take their time to study and do all of this calculation. You know, the people who sell in the market, I mean, most of them, they are not aware of this figures. They don't even understand most of these things. So I think what the government should do, I think I will say it again, I've said it before on this platform, that they need to work on the price of fuel. You know, how can we reduce that? Because in Nigeria, they will say once something goes up, you know, it's very difficult for it to come down. You know, we've been stuck at 1,000 plus. Sometimes they do get to maybe 950, 980. Can we beat it down? If petrol can come down to around 600, 700, I think things will get better. Because before you blame someone that sells banana in the market that, mama, why is it 4 for this price? Why is it 5 for this price? Can't you, you know, increase it? You know, she will have to pay transport before she can take it to the market. You know, she will have to buy some things to make sure that, you know, the market is good. So you can't really blame most of this, you know, sellers in the market, because they have to pay some things, and of course at the end of the day they will do some calculation and then they will share it on every consumer. So you really cannot blame them. So I think the government should look into that. If the price of fuel can crash, I bet you will have more development in terms of, you know, the prices of things coming down. So that's the way I see that's the matter. So instead of trading words on Twitter, honestly, can we begin to look for ways, you know, to bring down the price of fuel?
About
honestly,
yeah, I think you know, last week the president made a declaration that you know, food prices should be crushed, and I think you know, everyone who has anything to do with that should really be on their toes, doing a lot to make sure that Nigerians now have food on their table at a very reduced rate. I think that is the most important thing right now, because as a Nigerian, you first you know, find food, find shelter before you now begin to think of luxury items. But then I think the federal government are doing really well to get that. I want to believe that way. So they are probably doing something to get things right. Well, we'll take a few comments before we go, very quickly. Always dropping on paper, but not in real life. Story. That's coming for a
these are issues.
Right there. Yes, people are saying the decrease on paper. Yes, the figures are dropping from 30% or 30 point something percent down to 21%.
But they cannot feel it.
They cannot see. They cannot touch the reality. You know, when they go to the market, it doesn't feel the same with what they hear on probably TV or radio. Yes, we will reel out these statistics on TV and radio, but then will the people feel the impact of these statistics on the streets, in the market? I don't think they are already feeling that, and I think this is what people, the government, people in power, the government should do. Connect these statistics to the people on the street. Let them feel it. Let them have a feel of what exactly is going on. There's another comment here that says, creating problems, applauding yourself for solving 20% of it. I mean, this is a little bit of, you know, people saying, oh, you removed fuel subsidy, you did this, you did that, you have increased, you know, widened the tax net. But then you are saying food prices have dropped and the inflation has dropped.
And talk about the 5%, you know, surcharge that will come up next year. You do, the federal government is saying they are not even sure when that will start. But then I don't want to sound pessimistic. I just right things or right measures are put in place before they start implementing that. Because we don't want to add, you know, to the issues of the people. We don't want to add to the suffering of the people. A lot of people.
They should just be a little bit sensitive about
definitely. We have people that have stopped their business just because they cannot afford to buy fuel. Because when they buy fuel, I mean, the profit doesn't make any sense to them.
It doesn't add up.
So why should we, you know, implement another 5% surcharge when people are still complaining bitterly? Honestly, I just hope that I think the government, the federal government, you know, they have very good people, intelligent people in their corner, you know, that can help them.
I wish we can take more comments on this show, but most definitely our time is fast spent.
We need to go.
We simply have to go. We say thank you for joining us on the show so far. It has been a wonderful session. Do well to link up with us again, same time, same station tomorrow, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Until tomorrow, Samson Balogu is 9 a.m. Keep being good. Of course, keep being safe out there. Bye for now.
All right, thank you for being a part of the show. Do well to join us same time tomorrow as we promise to bring you fresh stories. And until then, I want to tell you that there's nothing to fear than fear itself. Post that content, take that course, and keep a positive mind. My name is Oluwayemi Adela. I'm saying good morning.
Why am I here? It's like I'm breathing but not really alive. My smile hides the emptiness inside. I sit in a crowded room but still feel invisible. Something was missing, and for a long time I didn't know what. I thought I needed more success, more friends, a better version of me. What I discovered was that I needed Jesus, God's Son who gave everything to be close to you and me. He took the weight of all my wrongs and died in my place. Then he rose again, defeating death, offering eternal life to anyone who believes. With Jesus, I found what I was searching for: belonging, purpose, a reason to keep going. When you ask for his forgiveness and believe he died for you, Jesus meets you with love and begins to lead you into a life full of meaning. Do you want to explore how Jesus can meet you in your emptiness and give you a lasting purpose?
Click to subscribe to our email series.
Nutritional value of carrots. The carrot Dacus carota stands out as a highly nutritious root vegetable, mostly commonly known for its vibrant orange hue. However, it's worth noting that heirloom varieties showcase an impressive array of colors, including purple, black, red, white, and yellow. All of these are domesticated forms of the white carrot, which is native to Europe and southwestern Asia, with its origins traced back to Iran, where it was initially cultivated for its leaves and seeds. In 2022, global production of carrots and turnips combined reached a remarkable 42 million tons, with China leading the charge, contributing an impressive 44% of the total. Packed with essential nutrients, carrots are rich in beta-carotene and antioxidants, making them an excellent choice for anyone seeking to enhance their health as part of a nutrient-dense diet. They are particularly notable for providing substantial amounts of beta-carotene, fiber, vitamin K1, potassium, and antioxidants, all while being low in calories. The health benefits of carrots are well documented. They are linked to lower cholesterol levels and improved eye health, while the carotene antioxidants they contain are associated with a reduced risk of cancer. Carrots are available in a variety of colors, ranging from yellow and white to orange, red, and purple. The striking orange color of common carrots comes from beta-carotene, an antioxidant that our bodies efficiently convert into vitamin A. Nutrition facts. Carrots have an impressive water content that ranges from 86% to 95%, and the edible part consists of about 10% carbohydrates. They are exceptionally low in fat and protein. The nutritional profile for 2 small to medium raw carrots or 100 grams is as follows. Calories 41, water 89%, protein 0.8 gram, carbohydrates 9.0 gram, fiber 2.7 gram, and fats 0.1 gram. Vitamins and minerals. Carrots serve as a powerhouse of essential vitamins and minerals, especially biotin, potassium, and vitamin A from beta-carotene, K1, and B6. Vitamin A carrots are renowned for their high beta-carotene content, which our bodies convert into vitamin A. This vital nutrient is crucial for maintaining good vision, supporting growth and development, and bolstering immune function. Biotin, previously known as vitamin H. Biotin is an important B vitamin that plays a key role in fats and protein metabolism. Vitamin K1 is essential for blood coagulation and promotes strong bones. Potassium, this critical mineral, plays a significant role in regulating blood pressure. Vitamin B6, a group of related vitamins. B6 is integral in converting food into energy efficiently. This comprehensive overview equips you with everything you need to know about the nutritional power of carrots. Embrace this remarkable vegetable for a healthier lifestyle.
All right, welcome to the agenda on Dominion Brokers Group this morning. I am Chike Ubogu. Well, on the agenda this morning, we'll be talking about security issues here, and also we'll be talking about the oil and gas, the sector this morning. But let's start with security matters. As you all know, the Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, and the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, have vowed to end the killings in Benue State. The IGP commiserated with the members of the community and reassured them of the Nigerian Police Force's commitment